Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Werewolf by Night. So this is not a movie, it's actually a Disney Plus Marvel special. Basically, it's the runtime of a TV show around 40 minutes or so. And you know what? Before I say anything, I have to give Marvel Disney a round of applause because they finally put on their grown-up underwear and got out that diaper. They really showed, they can mature themselves and give a solid, serious, project. However, they did sprinkle in a little bit of the humor and a little bit of the baby humor, just a tiny bit and everything. And I was just kind of like, why do that? Like, you had this nice solid piece. You showed you can be mature. You shown you can be serious. Everything's rocking and rolling, and then you just sprinkle in a little humor. One part of the humor feels a little bit like Josh Whedon, and the other part feels a little like Taika Waititi and everything. And it's just they can't help themselves. They had to do it for like all the little kids and like all the people who love comedy and stuff like that. Maybe it might have scared so many people. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But they did it. But it wasn't that bad, except for the one part at the end that just was so awkward and everything. I don't understand any part of the ending. So, Werewolf by what is it? Werewolf by Night? Yeah, something like that. So this was pretty cool and everything. I really enjoyed it and stuff. It had a different flair to it. It had a different taste in your mouth. It reminded me of those old school like horror movies set back in like in the 1920s, which, by the way, what year exactly is this set in? And not only what year, but I beg to ask the question that I ask all the Disney Plus TV shows like Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk is, what is the point? How does it fit to the overarching narrative of the MCU? Now, if this is just supposed to be a Halloween special, just something for the holidays, and its own separate little thing, that is fine. If it connects to the MCU, then you need to explain to me how. You need to explain how Werewolf by Night, or whatever his freaking name is supposed to fit into the MCU and what exactly is Phase 4. And I asked that because yes, this is part of the Marvel continuity and the Marvel timeline, because right after this came out, Marvel already beat everybody to the punch because they knew people were going to ask this question. When is this set in? Like, what time era? Well, I did some digging online and I found something from Marvel. Apparently, timeline-wise, this takes place directly after, you ready? Thor, Love, and Thunder. How? Everything here is old school. All the technology is old school. I didn't see a single modern thing except for that mug at the end of the episode, the one with the smiley face on it. I don't know if they had stuff like that back in the olden days, but that was the only modern thing I recognized and stuff. And so I didn't post the entire timeline thing. That would took too long. So at first I was thinking, okay, maybe they just posted this because it came directly after the Thor movie. But no, that was She-Hulk. And She-Hulk comes before that of Thor. And so, but then I looked on the thing and it's like, okay, wait, hold up. So in the timeline, they have Captain America, the first Avenger, Agent Carter, which apparently Agent Carter is a part of the Marvel timeline. And then they're not even a part of the Disney stuff. That was ABC. And then so, actually I will post the entire thing. And then they have, what's her face? Captain Marvel after that in the 80s. So I'm just kind of so, okay, so this really does take place in the present day. How is that possible? I don't understand and everything. That's just so weird. And they're gonna have to do some explaining and everything, But yeah, I'll post the entire timeline thing so you can see like what the timeline thingy looks like and what order everything's supposed to be in, so you can watch it, stuff like that. But I like the little, like, you know, stuff of horror here and there they had. But you know what? Even though the dude did a good job, he could have done a better job. I think Sam Raimi would have been perfect for this. They actually showed blood. I was very shocked and surprised. The dude got his ear ripped off and they showed that. I was very shocked and surprised. I like the cinematography of it. The whole black and white thing is so old school. The only problem with the black and white is that sometimes some things are hard to make out and you don't know exactly what it is. Like when Jack showed up in the beginning, he had that tribal stuff on his face. At first I thought it might have been scars, and I thought I was seeing something. No, it's like paint markings on his face. The 100 dude has like scars on his face. You can barely see him. Now the action was cool, but it could have been so much better, especially since the dude was in a practical suit as the werewolf. However, because of the black and white and the flashing of lights, it made the choreography very hard to notice and everything at times. Especially now since I'm getting older and my eyesight isn't as good as it used to be. So it's kind of hard to tell. And so I do like this like a lot. You know what I'm saying? It would have been cool if it was his own show and stuff. Now when it comes to Werewolf by Night, I don't know much about him. I've only seen him in animation. I saw him in a Hulk Halloween movie, which I will be talking about soon. And I saw him in Ultimate Spider-Man, the Halloween episode where Blade shows up. I've never talked about that. I was going to, but I don't like that two-parter. It has Blade in the first part, then it has like the Howling Commandos 2.0 and like the second. And that's what he's a part of. He's part of the Howling Commandos 2.0. I think he even might be the leader. He's a very friendly werewolf dude. He's nice. I think he, and so Jack, the dude who is him, he is very nice too. I'm glad they got that down. But when he transformed into the werewolf, he doesn't speak and he's very animalistic and he slaughters and kills and stuff. And so it's kind of like, okay, they changed that, but then again, I don't really know what the comic's about. I just know what the animation's about. Now they have Elsa Bloodstone in it. The actress who plays her, whose name I can't think of, might be Laura Donnelly. I'm a fan of hers. I saw her in Britannia. She's great in Britannia. I talked about that show. Go watch my videos on that. But she appears to be acting like 50% of what her character is on Britannia. The way she talks, the way she acts, her attitude. She basically just took that character and made it into this one. Now, I don't know anything about Elsa Bloodstone. Nothing whatsoever. I just know that she didn't have her trademark weapons on the show, which is probably because she's not really a monster hunter. But I also noticed something. She does not have her red hair like in the comics. This is quite shocking because I'm getting tired of stars having their natural hair color and not dyeing their hair for a project. One of the great things about superhero stuff is that their hair is different colors than most people, and it'll be nice to see that. Because Laura actually has red hair. She's had red hair in other projects. I don't know why she doesn't have red hair here and everything. And even though I did like her and everything, she was great in this role. You know who I thought would have been better? Emily Beecham, the lady from Into the Badlands who played the widow. She looks just like the comic. She has the red hair. She can do martial arts. She can use weapons. You should watch Into the Badlands. I haven't been able to talk about it because I don't have Netflix no more, so I need to rewatch it. It's great. But yeah, she looks exactly like the comic book person. So I don't know why they didn't catch her. And she's British. And you know, Laura's also like Irish and stuff. So bam, they could have like done that. But I do like Laura. Don't get me wrong. And so I hope Marvel keeps going in more of this serious type route. This whole baby humor thing that they normally do is getting on my nerves. That's one reason why I can't get into Ms. Marvel and one reason why I can't get into She-Hulk. But another reason why I can't get into She-Hulk is only because I'm just not a law television show type person. The only one I like is Ally McBeal. So with this, basically what happens is, let's see, there is the House of Bloodstone. and they're gonna auction off the actual blood stone. Now in the comics, she wears it around her neck on the choker, and here it's encased in some type of like book thing. You can detach it, and so the what's her name? Elsa's father has died. And the stepmother does not like Elsa whatsoever because Elsa has not fallen into her father's ways. Now, in the comics, she has super strength, regenerative power, super speed. She doesn't have this here. I don't know if it comes from the stone or what, but I know she inherited from her father. In the comics, that's the little part I read. And so her and her stepmom just does not get along, right? And so they've gathered tons of monster hunters from like around the world to hunt a monster. And that's just what they do. There are tons of monster heads on like the house and stuff. And so these hunters, we don't really know much about them. Don't get attached because they don't really explain nothing about these guys. We don't know much about the personality, nothing about their backstories. I have no idea if they even from the comics or not. And so, like, the only one we know is the one with the beard. He's just very, 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 very rude and stuff. So Elsa's father, he has reanimated his corpse and he's talking to everybody. And basically, he wants somebody to have the bloodstone. And so who's ever the best monster hunter can have it. He wanted his daughter to have it, but like, you know, I said, she has distanced herself from the family business and stuff, which is probably why she don't have her trademark weapons. Now, her trademark weapons are on like somewhere presented in the house. So that's a little Easter egg for you. Speaking of Easter egg, thank God Marvel did not do the hype. There's no Easter eggs, there's no cameos, there's no nothing. Also, what was confusing about the timeline is Blade was supposed to show up in this, but the actor was unable to do it. And so the lady, the stepmother says, you know, she's placed the bloodstone on like, you know, a monster. It hurts monsters, stuff like that. And they have to go chase it out in the woods and all this other stuff in the maze and try to find the monster, and whoever can claim it, bam, they get the prize. So you have Jack, who's like a nice guy. You have Elsa, who just doesn't even want to be there. And of course, you can probably figure out what the other hunters are going to do. They betray each other. They try to kill each other while trying to hunt. Typical hunters in television is what they do. Is what Laura's character did in Britannia. And so Bearded Dude is literally trying to kill Elsa and stuff. And so with the axe, a giant axe. And so she takes out another hunter dude and just kills the crap out of him and chops his arm off and then shoots him with his own weapon. She is tough. I like that. And then so, you know, she ends up killing another dude. Well, anyways, we see Jack, and as he's running, he's sees the monster. The monster grabs him. It's Man-Thing. The CGI on Man-Thing is very good. Not as good as the practical suit from Swamp Thing that just got canceled a couple of years back, but still, the CGI is on point with him and stuff. And so, like, he tells him, you know, I'm gonna try to get you out of here and all this other stuff. Elsa shows up and he's trying to calm her down so she doesn't like attack. And so they something happens where they get like captured, those two, and they get placed into like a mausoleum. So by this time the show is starting to like slow down because they're talking and bonding. He just says he wants to free the creature, he'll give her the stone. So they agree, and she tells him, betray me, you were the monster, and I'll kill you both. And so she tells the story of how, like, you know, if she ever get trapped in here, how her aunt got out of the mausoleum because she has a key. It's kind of weird, it's kind of stupid, it's kind of odd, like, you know, like it happened too quickly. Like she just busted open the mausoleum, pulled out some bones and found the key because the lady keeps the keys on her and stuff. And it's just, and she keeps her aunt's like jewelry. It's just an awkward scene, but that's not the like humor stuff I was talking about. It's just awkward, like lazy writing and stuff. And so they free themselves, and then they like, I think they see like the monster, the Man-Thing, right? And then she tells him, here's this explosive, blah, blah. He tells Man-Thing, you know, I'm going to get the thing off you. This thing is like a little explosive, blah, blah. She tells him it's supposed to like stick to the wall. She tells him to go down here, throw it at the wall, it explodes, blah, 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 all this other crap, right? Now here's when they get like attacked and everything. And then this is where the humor comes. The tiki, the tiger of a tiki type humor. He throws the explosive. Well, see, first he touched it and activated it, so he had to run real fast because it's about to explode. Then he threw it on the wall, and it bounced off the wall. And it's one of those tiger like type moments. Like remember when Bruce Banner jumped out the plane, and then he smack dab hit the ground. It's like that. Like it's literally like that. And so he does it again, it doesn't work. He puts it someplace else, it falls off, and then he just puts it in the crack and then it explodes. It's awkward and it just takes you out the moment. It's funny, but I was not looking for funny. Just keep me on the horror level or the spooky, scary level. It just took me out of the moment, you know? And so it explodes and all this other stuff. I think they got the bloodstone off of like, you know, Man Thing. He like leaves and everything. And then Jack touches it and it affects him badly. Everybody sees that and they realize he is indeed a monster, but they don't know what kind of monster yet. And so this is when the stepmother betrays Jack and Elsa. She puts them in like a cage, waiting for him to transform and everything to attack Elsa. She had no intentions of ever giving it to Elsa and stuff like that. So Elsa's just kind of like hurt and everything, and she's just kind of like, like, I wasn't afraid of you before, but I guess I have to wait until you like rip me apart and all this other stuff. And he assures her that like, look, I'm a werewolf. I only turn at a full moon. That's 5 days from now. I normally keep myself locked up. You have nothing to worry about. And she tells him the bloodstone has the ability to turn you within 5 seconds. So 5 days ain't gonna matter. And she's really depressed. And she's defeated at this point. And it's kind of weird to see the strong person defeated because she knows she's gonna be ripped apart. And so in comes the last two remaining bounty hunters that's alive, the skinny dude and the black dude. I forgot black dude was even in this. And so like here comes the stepmom and she uses the bloodstone to activate his werewolf transformation. Now the transformation, I got mixed feelings about this. The cinematography way they did that is clever and it's intriguing and it's just neat. However, it's lazy. They clearly did not have the money to even do a werewolf transformation. You know what's kind of sad? They can do a werewolf transformation on Wizards of Waverly Place, a Disney Channel show from back in the day. And they couldn't even do this for Disney Plus. Do they not have money at Disney? I know they do, because they sure does take it from me a lot. And everybody else. So where was the money for this transformation? It was as lazy as She-Hulk. Basically, this is the transformation. We see his normal hand. Then we see his hand turn into like a werewolf hand. Then it cuts to Elsa nest pressed up against the cage, and she's terrified, horrified. She can see the transformation. We can't. Only thing we can see is the shadow silhouette that's perched on the wall behind her. See that little shadowy figure? That's him transforming, and that's the transformation. We don't get to see nothing else, just a hand and a shadow and everything, and her looking freaked out. Now, her looking freaked out is great. This is a cool kind of transformation in the sense that it is different for a cinematic kind of way, but it is lazy in a practical CGI kind of way. They did not have the budget. So, if you are one of those people who complain that She-Hulk transformation is lazy and crap, do not praise this at all. You have no right. Your comment, your opinion is invalid because it's the same type of transformation. If you think Werewolf by Night transformation is the coolest thing you ever saw, then you're lying to yourself, because it's the exact same thing as She-Hulk, and we all know how a lot of people feel about that transformation. And so it's just pure lazy. Now we get into all the action, and I'm a little mixed about the action. It's cool, but there are times where you just don't know what the world's going on because of the black and white and the flashing lights and everything. So he first grabs the arm. Oh, by the way he looks, doing werewolves on screen is hard. I've seen a couple of werewolf movies, TV shows like Buffy, Underworld, Teen Wolf, the movie. This other werewolf movie, I forgot what it's called. It's like a daughter mother couple relationship, I think. Not yucky relationship, but like a mother daughter, and they both turn into werewolves and stuff. One scratched the other, and the other one turned into a werewolf now. And I forgot what that's called. It's such an old movie. It's hard doing werewolves on screen. They always have that puffy chest. They always have those puffy block looking arms with tons of fuzzy hair, and sometimes their faces are hit or miss. It's kind of like that here. He has the puffy chest, the block arms, the hairy arms, but we really don't get to see him, truly see him. The costume probably isn't all that great, so they really didn't want to show it. Normally when you see him, he's far away in the distance and everything. We only see a close-up of his face once. It's all right, but it could be better. He doesn't look scary. He rarely even looks like a werewolf. He looks more human in the face than anything else. He has some prosthetics that looks kind of dog-like, but he still looks human for the most part. The best werewolves I've ever seen are in the Underworld franchise. The Lichens are great. There are people in like costume, they're on stilts to give them that like 9-10 foot appearance. Their faces are more cat-like, but and also horse-like a little bit, like a horse neck and a cat-like face, they said. Only problem is those suits you can barely move in it. Now William from the second movie, he looks great. He looks amazing. He looks like a giant wolf man. His face looks like that of a wolf. I wish Werewolf by Night looked like him, or at least bring in Joe Jameson's son John and have him do the Wolfman thing. So anyways, there's tons of action from Elsa. She's like really doing some modern day fighting and stuff. We have some fighting by a werewolf and everything. He's just gashing and slashing people. Blood's on like the camera dripping down. He rips a dude's ear off. The blood is pouring from the dude's ear. But this is what's really strange. He only takes out the guards. Elsa takes out everybody else, like all the bounty hunter people. You would think that since this is called Werewolf by Night, we would see the werewolf more, which we really don't. Like the action scene is really the only time we see the werewolf. And you think the werewolf will actually kill some of the main characters, but he doesn't. So that kind of robs him of his own freaking show. It's the same problem I had with Moon Knight. We barely saw Moon Knight. And you know, once his like lover got like that suit, she did like all the fighting for the most part. So it's kind of like a bummer. So anyways, after it's all over, the stepmom comes in and she's getting ready to lay down to hurt. Werewolf by Night has already left, but in comes Man-Thing through the ceiling and he grabs the stepmom and incinerates her. It's such a cool feature, and then they kind of ruin it with more of that like humor crap where he's just standing there and it's just like they both looking at each other very awkwardly, and she's all like, oh yeah, he ran down that way. And so he kind of like shrugs his shoulders and just kind of like stumbers off and everything. Disney just can't help but bring the humor. And then, so this is where it gets odd and very strange. The ending. So the butler dude's all like, you know, I was just following orders and everything. And she's all like, yeah, whatever. And so she just sits down, she takes the bloodstone, and all of a sudden it goes from black and white to color. I'm all like, is that the bloodstone? Are they in a different universe? Like, what's going on here? Why is everything going to color? Then we get into more of the awkward Josh Whedon stuff. Jesus Christ. We see Werewolf by Night. He wakes up. He has de-transformed. He is human. He's wondering, like, you know, what all went on. And we see Man-Thing just sitting down, chilling, playing cards by himself. There's a campfire. There's like, they make like tea and everything. There's like a canister to put the tea in, and there's like a mug with a smiley face on it. It's very campy. Like literally, it's campy and everything. And I'm just like, this took me completely out the show when they turned it into color. And then when they did this campy, goofy silliness. And it's silly and it's goofy and they talk to each other. And then he's all like, so you want to get some sushi and everything? And I'm just kind of like, Jesus Christ, this reminds me of Josh Whedon and Avengers and that whole trauma thing. And I'm just like, why Disney? Why Marvel? Why? Why did you go back to baby humor and stuff? Like, why in the world would you do that? And that's just to show everybody, hey, look, everybody, we're not changing. We still got a little bit of that humor in there. We still got a little bit of that baby humor and everything. And, you know, so in case you people get a little scared, here's a little silly ha-ha-ha-ness and everything for y'all. And that just took me completely out of it. It didn't ruin the entire show, but it irked me to the point where I'm just like, bleh, and stuff. So this was pretty cool. It wasn't great. There's some things that could have been touched up and done a lot bit better, and they could have took out all the humor. They could have left maybe one humorous thing in there, like maybe like, you know, the part where Man Things just kind of like doesn't know where Wolf Dude's at, and they could have left that in there. That would have been fine. But everything else, like the rest of the humor, should have been dropped and everything. I still think Sam Raimi could have pulled this off a whole lot more better and made it actual scary. Because this wasn't scary. The only scary part is when Elsa was up against the cage and he was transforming. But it would have been scarier if we would have seen the transformation. But she pulls it off with her acting because she is a real actress and everything. And so, yeah. Their attempts at trying to do horror, it's all right, not bad, you know what I'm saying? But like I said before, could have been better. But I do like this and everything, and I do appreciate they went into a different route instead of their slapstick humor. Let me feed you a baby food type stuff, you know. That wasn't that spooky. All right, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.